There are so many myths about motorcycles floating around out there. Bad advice about maintenance, dangerous tips about riding, straight up wrong information about how bikes work. These myths aren't just annoying. Some of them can cost riders money. Others might even put them in danger. Today's video will break down the 15 biggest motorcycle myths that circulate among riders. It will explain why people believe these things and why they're completely wrong. So get comfortable and let's set the record straight once and for all. Myth number 1. Motorcycles need to warm up for a long time. It happens at every group ride. A rider starts their bike, then stands around for 10 minutes while it idles before they get on and ride away. They think this is good for the engine, especially on cold mornings. The truth is that long warm-ups actually harm motorcycles. Modern bikes need very little warm-up time. Starting the engine and letting it run for just 30 seconds to a minute is plenty. Then the rider should ride gently for the first few minutes. This is much better for the engine than a long idle. Why is a long idle bad? When an engine idles for a long time, especially when cold, it doesn't build enough heat. The fuel doesn't burn completely. This causes carbon deposits inside the engine and can wash oil off cylinder walls. A motorcycle warms up much better when ridden gently because the moving parts circulate oil better and everything heats up more evenly. Almost every motorcycle manual today says the same thing. Start the bike, wait a short time, then ride gently until everything reaches normal temperature. The motorcycle will last longer and run better following this advice instead of the old let it idle forever approach. Myth number 2. Loud pipes save lives. This is probably the most repeated myth in motorcycling. Loud pipes save lives. The idea is that noisy exhausts alert car drivers to a motorcycle's presence and prevent accidents. Science says this is false. Sound waves travel behind and to the sides of a motorcycle, not forward where most dangers come from. By the time a driver in front hears a loud exhaust, the motorcycle is already passing them. It's too late to prevent anything. Engineers have tested this. When people stand on different sides of a motorcycle with aftermarket pipes while someone revs it, the sound is much louder behind the bike than in front of it. Now think about drivers in modern cars with good sound insulation, air conditioning running, and music playing. They simply won't hear pipes until the motorcycle is right next to them or already past them. What really makes motorcyclists safer? Being seen. Bright clothing, reflective gear, proper lane positioning, and always assuming drivers don't see them will protect riders far more than any exhaust system. Defensive riding skills and constant awareness save more lives than loud pipes ever will. If riders want loud pipes because they like the sound, that's fine, but they shouldn't claim it's for safety when all the evidence says otherwise. Myth number 3. Bigger engines are always faster. Many people assume that engine size directly equals speed and performance. They think a 1000cc bike must be faster than a 600cc bike, and an 1800cc cruiser must be faster than both. This is completely wrong. Engine size is just one small part of what makes a motorcycle perform well. Weight is a huge factor. A lighter bike needs less power to go fast. Aerodynamics matter a lot too. A bike that cuts through the air cleanly will be faster than one that fights against wind resistance. The type of engine and how it's tuned makes a massive difference. Sport bikes have engines designed to rev high and make power at high RPM. Cruisers have engines tuned for low-end torque, but they run out of breath at higher speeds. A 600cc sport bike will easily outrun an 1800cc cruiser because the sport bike is lighter, more aerodynamic, and has an engine designed for speed. Even bikes that look similar can perform very differently based on their design goals. A 900cc bike built for nimble handling might be much more fun to ride than a heavier 1100cc bike with more power but less agility. When someone brags about their bike's engine size, remember that CCs don't tell the whole story. It's how the whole package works together that matters. So yeah, bigger engines aren't always faster. Sorry to that one guy revving his 1800cc cruiser at every stoplight. But buckle up, because the next few myths, they're the kind of bad advice that turns your bike into a rolling money pit or a crash course in regret. If you've ever heard these myths at your local bike night or from a buddy who knows everything, smash that like button to help set the record straight. And subscribe now so you never fall for motorcycle BS again. Let's get into myth number 4. Riders should lay their bikes down to avoid a crash. Most riders have heard someone tell this story. I had to lay the bike down to avoid hitting that car. They say it like it was the smart thing to do, like they meant to crash their bike on purpose. This advice is completely wrong and very dangerous. Motorcycles today have really good brakes. Tires have much more stopping power when they're on the ground than when a bike is sliding on its side. When someone lays it down, they give up all control. They can't steer. They can't brake. They become a human bowling ball sliding across the pavement. Where did this myth come from? Back in the 1950s and 60s, motorcycles had terrible brakes. The drums would fade or lock up, especially when wet. Back then, sometimes sliding might have been better than those awful brakes, but that's not true anymore. Modern disc brakes and especially ABS systems can stop a motorcycle faster and more safely than any intentional crash. Every professional riding instructor teaches the same thing. Keep the bike upright and use the brakes properly. Practice emergency braking to be ready if something jumps out in front. Staying upright also lets riders swerve around obstacles if needed. Once sliding on the ground, a rider is just going wherever physics takes them. Myth number 5. Premium fuel makes all bikes run better. Riders often put premium fuel in bikes that don't need it, thinking they're giving their motorcycle a treat or a performance boost. This is a waste of money. Octane rating isn't about quality or power. It's about preventing engine knock in high-compression engines. Higher octane fuel doesn't burn better or cleaner. It just resists detonation differently. Each motorcycle engine is designed for a specific octane level. If the owner's manual says regular fuel, 87 octane is fine, then using premium, 91 to 93 octane, gives zero benefits. It won't make more power, improve mileage, or clean the engine. The engine is designed to run best on what the manual recommends. In fact, using higher octane fuel than needed can sometimes make performance worse. Some engines actually run better on the octane they were designed for. The higher octane can change combustion timing in ways that reduce power in engines not designed for it. Many riders have wasted thousands of dollars over the years buying premium gas when their bikes didn't need it. Checking the manual and buying the fuel grade the manufacturer recommends saves money. That extra money could go toward maintenance that actually matters. Myth number 6. Riders don't need gear for short rides. I'm just going to the store a mile away. I don't need all my gear for such a short trip. This thinking is very common and very dangerous. The reality is that most motorcycle accidents happen close to home on familiar roads. The risk doesn't decrease just because someone is making a quick trip. The pavement is just as hard whether going 1 mile or 100 miles. Think about it this way. If someone falls while standing still, they might get a bruise. If they fall at 30 miles per hour, they lose several layers of skin. At 50 miles per hour, skin can wear through to the bone in less than a second of sliding. The body doesn't know or care how long the planned ride was going to be. Gearing up takes a few extra minutes. It can be annoying, especially for a quick trip, but too many riders suffer serious injuries from just a quick ride to the store. Road rash that gets infected, broken wrists from trying to catch themselves in a fall, head injuries that change lives forever. Proper gear is the only protection when things go wrong. Making it a habit to always wear gear, no matter how short the ride, is wise. That extra minute putting on a helmet and jacket might save months of recovery time. Myth number 7. Chains don't need frequent cleaning and lubrication. Many riders ignore their drive chain until it starts making noise or causing problems. They think occasional maintenance is good enough. The chain is under incredible stress every ride. Each link flexes thousands of times per minute while being hit with dirt, water, and road grime. Without regular cleaning and lubrication, chains wear out much faster than they should. A neglected chain doesn't just cost money in early replacement, it can be dangerous. Chains can bind, causing jerky power delivery. In the worst case, they can break completely, potentially locking the rear wheel or damaging other parts of the bike. How often should riders maintain their chain? It depends on riding conditions, but a good rule is every 500 miles in normal conditions, and after any ride in rain or dusty environments. The maintenance doesn't take long. Clean the chain with a brush and proper cleaner, let it dry, then apply quality chain lube. This simple task can triple the life of a chain and sprockets. A $15 bottle of chain lube can save hundreds of dollars by extending the life of drive components. Plus, a well-maintained chain delivers power more smoothly and efficiently. Myth number 8. Engine braking is bad for motorcycles. Some riders believe that using engine braking damages the engine or transmission. This myth is completely false. Engine braking is a normal function that manufacturers design into motorcycles. When the throttle closes, the engine's compression creates a braking effect. This is perfectly safe and actually has several benefits. Using engine braking reduces wear on brake pads and helps prevent brake fade on long downhill rides. It also keeps the bike more stable, especially in corners, because the deceleration is smoother than using brakes alone. Professional racers use engine braking constantly. It's a fundamental riding skill that gives more control over the bike. Instead of avoiding it, riders should practice using engine braking together with regular brakes for smoother, more controlled stops. Myth number 9. Riders should always put both feet down at stops. Newer riders often put both feet down at every stop, planting their feet firmly on the ground before they're even fully stopped. The better technique is to keep the right foot on the rear brake and put only the left foot down when stopped. This one-foot method gives several advantages. It keeps the bike more stable because the rear brake is still engaged. The rider is ready to move quickly if needed, and they maintain better balance and control. With both feet down, riders have to take their foot off the rear brake, which can let the bike roll on hills or uneven surfaces. They also have to get their right foot back on the peg before moving again, wasting valuable time if they need to move quickly to avoid danger. It might feel strange at first for those used to putting both feet down. Practicing in empty parking lots or quiet streets helps. Keep the right foot on the brake pedal and lean slightly to put the left foot down. With practice, this becomes natural and gives much more control of the bike at stops. Myth number 10. Shifting to neutral at lights saves fuel. Many riders automatically shift to neutral at every red light, thinking they're reducing strain on the clutch or saving fuel. The fuel savings from this practice are so tiny, they're basically zero. Modern motorcycle engines use very little fuel at idle, whether in gear with the clutch in or in neutral. The savings might be a few cents per year at most. What riders lose is safety. Staying in first gear with the clutch pulled in keeps them ready to move instantly if needed. If someone is about to rear-end them, which is a common motorcycle accident, they can quickly move out of the way. If in neutral, they have to shift into gear first, wasting crucial seconds. The wear on the clutch from holding it in at stops is minimal compared to the wear from constantly shifting in and out of neutral at every light. Clutches are designed to be pulled in frequently. That's their job. Unless stopped for several minutes, it's better to stay in first gear with the clutch in. The tiny theoretical fuel savings aren't worth the safety trade-off. Myth number 11. Riders should use front and rear brakes equally. Many riders, especially beginners, think they should apply equal pressure to both brakes when stopping. This seems logical, but is actually incorrect and can lead to longer stopping distances. The physics of motorcycle braking means the front brake provides 70 to 90% of the stopping power. When braking, weight transfers forward, putting more pressure on the front tire and less on the rear. This gives the front tire more grip and makes it much more effective at stopping. If trying to use both brakes equally, a rider isn't using their front brake enough and is asking too much from the rear brake. This leads to longer stopping distances and increases the chance of the rear wheel locking up and skidding. This doesn't mean ignoring the rear brake. It's still helpful for stability, especially at low speeds or in slippery conditions. But understanding that the front brake does most of the work is essential for emergency stops. The proper technique is to apply both brakes, but with more pressure on the front and lighter pressure on the rear. Practicing this in empty parking lots makes it become natural in an emergency. Learning proper brake balance could literally save lives. Myth number 12. New tires need hard riding to break them in. There's a dangerous myth that new motorcycle tires need aggressive riding to scrub them in or heat cycle them properly. This is completely wrong and has caused many crashes. New tires do have a slick surface coating from the manufacturing process, but the right way to break them in is with gentle riding for the first 100 miles or so. Riders should start with easy rides, avoiding hard acceleration, heavy braking, and deep lean angles. They should gradually increase lean angles and braking force as the miles add up. This progressive approach allows the tire surface to properly develop the texture it needs for maximum grip. The aggressive heat cycle approach some riders recommend is actually dangerous. Pushing new tires too hard before they're properly broken in increases the risk of sliding, especially if hitting a patch of sand or gravel during that initial period. Being patient with new rubber is smart. Those first careful miles will develop the tire surface properly and give better performance over the tire's entire life. Myth number 13. oil needs changing every 3,000 miles no matter what. The 3,000-mile oil change rule is probably the most widely believed myth in motorcycle maintenance. It's also one that costs riders a lot of unnecessary money. This outdated rule comes from decades ago when oils weren't nearly as good as they are today. Modern motorcycle oils, especially synthetics, are engineered to last much longer while providing excellent protection. Most current motorcycles have recommended oil change intervals of 5,000 to 8,000 miles, sometimes even longer. These intervals are set by engineers who extensively test the engines and oils to determine optimal change timing. Of course, riding conditions matter. If riding in extreme heat, cold, or very dusty environments, more frequent changes might be needed. Checking the owner's manual for the intervals the bike's engineers actually designed for is wise. Don't just follow traditions or what riding buddies say. Modern oils have changed dramatically, and those old rules no longer apply to today's motorcycles. Myth number 14, once tire pressure is set, it's good to go. Too many riders check their tire pressure once when they get new tires, then forget about it for months. This is a recipe for trouble. Motorcycle tires naturally lose air over time, even without punctures. They typically lose 1 to 2 psi per month from normal seepage through the rubber. Temperature changes affect pressure too. For every 10-degree drop in temperature, tires can lose about 1 psi. So tires that were properly inflated in summer can be dangerously low by fall. Why does proper tire pressure matter so much? Underinflated tires overheat, wear out faster, handle poorly, reduce fuel economy, and are more prone to blowouts. Even just being 5 psi lower dramatically changes how a bike handles. Overinflated tires give a harsh ride and less traction because less rubber contacts the road. Using a good quality pressure gauge and checking tires at least once a week or before any longer ride is smart. The best time to check is when the tires are cold before riding. Set the pressure to exactly what the motorcycle manufacturer recommends, not what's printed on the tire sidewall. This simple habit only takes a minute but gives immediate benefits in handling, tire life, and safety. It's one of the easiest and most important maintenance tasks anyone can do. Myth number 15. Aftermarket parts always improve performance. At any motorcycle rally, riders can be heard bragging about all the performance parts they've added to their bikes. The reality? Many of these modifications actually make bikes perform worse, not better. Motorcycle manufacturers spend millions testing how all the parts work together as a system. When changing one part without adjusting everything else that works with it, riders often disrupt this balance. This doesn't mean all modifications are bad, but effective upgrades require proper research, installation, and tuning. What upgrades actually work? Getting the suspension properly set up for rider weight, having the ECU professionally tuned for riding style, taking riding courses to improve skills. These give real, measurable benefits instead of just making the bike louder or prettier. Before spending hundreds on parts promising miracle performance gains, riders should ask for actual dyno sheets or other proof that they work. Better yet, put that money toward advanced riding courses. The best performance upgrade is almost always the rider, not the bike. And that wraps up our list of motorcycle myths. What motorcycle myths have you heard that you know are false? Or did you believe something for years before finding out it wasn't true? Share your stories in the comments. Your experience might help another rider avoid making the same mistakes. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to catch future videos. There's plenty more practical riding advice coming your way. Thanks for watching.